What would normally be a foolish move, I think, will pay much higher dividends down the road. I gave away my silver when prices hit almost an all-time high. Let's discuss in this video the reasons why as we explore. Recently, within a few days ago, when prices were climbing up to near all-time highs, I was at a social event, and I decided to give away some of my silver. And the reason why I did that is because I think it will pay much higher dividends down the road than a loss of silver, bullion value at that point in time. It's not very often we see $50 silver, that's for sure. It's only happened 3 times in history, and technically, it's never gotten to $50 before. But it did here just the other day. Now, why would I do this? Why would I do it at an all-time high? Because, you think about it, whoever is the recipient of it is going to look up silver prices, and they're going to be like, whoa, this is crazy, and it's going to go higher. But then it crashes, like we saw the last 2 times. But this time is different. You've heard me talk about that before. And the overall lesson was I got their attention. And that is the key, is you have silver coins. And by the way, I was at this social event, and it was close enough to where I could get my silver. I decided to drive home and bring it back. That's right. And so, not only did I do that, I wanted to send a powerful message to the recipient. It's not just about kindness, it's about education. And that is key. Yes, indeed. And what I did give away, you can see represented here in front of you, was near an ounce of silver. And it wasn't just to one person, by the way. It was to their family members as well, young kids. That's right. And so that is really the key, is to get them interested, to get them researching and looking into silver. I had a discussion with this individual there and explained how silver has been money for thousands of years and how the price of it has gone up through the course of history, up and down. But overall, it's really about wealth preservation, true, sound money. That's right, constitutional money. And, I didn't have a whole lot of time to really explain in intimate detail exactly what that means, and I certainly did not point them to this channel. But nonetheless, I did put in front of them these silver coins, and they looked at it and were very intrigued and interested in it. And with some fascination in coins by one of the family members, I think it's going to take it to the next level when they see that they've got something of value in their hand. One thing is for sure that, it represents true ultimate wealth through the course of history, long before the United States was formed. In fact, during ancient Roman times, a silver denarii, which is about the same size as a winged Liberty dime, well, that coin really paid for about a day's hard labor, 12 hours of hard labor for a Roman soldier. Of course, back during those days, silver was much more scarce per capita than it is now. But nonetheless, the lesson really remains the same, in so much that the value differential between then and now, depending on when then is something that's going to fluctuate. But in the long run, silver is a wealth preserver. Unlike the dollar, it's destined to fail. It's destined to lose value every year. And that's exactly what happens. In fact, when you look at this dollar compared to this dollar, you tell me which one is worth more. Even if you don't know much about silver, it's abundantly clear. One is made of metal, and that metal just happens to be silver. So there's something amazing and fascinating about that. And so when you think about silver and you go to an online dealer like Summit Metals, who's got a really good selection, they also have constitutional silver and great customer service. Well, when you go there and you see silver coins for sale, usually they're going to have charts to tell you what the price is based off of. And so that is pretty amazing to see how that fluctuates. But in a long course of time, as you hold these silver coins, and you will value them yourself. There's something about value compared to price. And holding something in your hand that is so small, tiny, but it has precious metal in them is quite intriguing. it's wonderful. I did end up replacing that which I gave away at the local coin shop for spot price. But still, when you replenish your stack, it makes you feel good that you were able to contribute to the education and to the fascination of others. Educating others about silver is quite intriguing and I think fulfilling, because then they will not only take to heart what you say, but they will research on their own. I don't often go out to eat, but if I were, I'd like to place a silver dime in their hand or a silver quarter, as well as a full tip, by the way. This is something a little extra, and they will take and maybe educate themselves a little bit more about silver and what it does and what it has done for thousands of years. Now, silver's value, as we know, is really priced. It's priced in based off of the weight troy ounces, but actually constitutional silver has varying weights to them, and that's one of the reasons why you can get it fairly cheap these days. Most places will sell it to you right around spot price, so I think that's fascinating. It's an inexpensive way to get into the silver market if you're new to stacking, but I tell you, you will get people's attention if you give them a silver dime, and that's all it takes, really. One silver dime of a design that you don't see around anymore, such as the barber, and with an old date on it. This was a United States coin that circulated back then. So the other prong to this, which I think is fascinating, is the historic aspect of it. What happened back in 1916 when this dime was produced? What was going on in the world at the time? They may look it up. They may find out exactly what that dime whose hands it could have been passed through during that time. It's just a remarkable aspect of what silver is, because silver is historic in so many different ways and measures. In my conversation with them, I did mention the Roman soldier and how important and integral silver has been in the building of society and civilization over the years. And it's quite remarkable to see the look on their face as I'm telling them and putting them in their hands, and they are quite perplexed and taken aback. And not just so much that, hey, you gave me something, but it's what it is. It's the historic, it's the beauty of the design of the pieces. You take a look at some of these older designs, there's just nothing that comes close to the amazing design work and the craftsmanship that was put into these classic designs, showing Lady Liberty, no presidents on the coin, flying eagle there. Just amazing, absolutely incredible designs, much of what is lacking today. A 1 ounce silver eagle here. I think this is one of the better modern representations of the heraldic eagle, but you don't see that too often. They had to go back to the classic Adolf Wyman design here, which is on the half walking Liberty $50. But still, it's a piece of history or representation honoring history. And so, if you had a silver eagle and you show it to somebody, even if you don't give it to them, let them hold it in their hand. This individual held it in their hand. They remarked on the weight of it, how solid it felt, and how intriguing it was to be able to hold something of substance in their hand. Silver is more substantive than copper and other base metals. It does have that weight to it. Obviously not nearly as much as gold, but still, there's something about silver that is quite special. And I think it was captured in my conversation with the individual. I'm very curious to hear if I hear back. I may not hear back from the individual when the children receive the gifts, and maybe a little bit of a lesson that will go along with those gifts. It's up to them. All we can do is sow seeds of silver, and I think that there's something powerful about doing that. And it wasn't much, obviously, much less than $50 is what I had invested, in far as terms of the actual spot price of silver at the time. I paid much less than that for the coins. So I'm not out a whole lot, and I replaced it very, very quickly, and and I think that's well worth it. That's well worth it indeed. So I want to encourage you, if you get a chance to have a conversation with somebody, let them know, and if you have a dime to give to them, and give it to them, but tell them a little bit about the price. Tell them a little bit about the history. I think they will be quite intrigued. It will get their attention for sure. And I hope this video got your attention, and I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch. And I want to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.